sis. Ready to take your business to the next level? In this episode of part two of our two-part niche series, we're diving into the formula for finding your niche and breaking through the noise in a crowded market. I'll be sharing power-packed examples to show you exactly how niching down can help you scale up and attract your ideal clients. Now, sis, if you have not listened to part one of this series, you're going to want to pause this episode and go back to part one where we spoke about what a niche is and some of the things you want to look for when you're picking a niche. Now, if you're serious about growing your business and standing out, grab a pen because this episode is full of strategies you can start using right away. Let's get to work. You are listening to Call Her Profitable, the podcast where Jesus-loving entrepreneurs hit five-figure months consistently, all while keeping God at the center of their business. I'm your host, Odaisha, certified business coach and multi-passionate entrepreneur, here to empower you with the tools to build a profitable, cash-flowing business. And on this podcast, we'll explore effective marketing strategies for attracting clients and boosting sales, along with simple methods for running your business effectively. And hey, if you're ready for accountability in both your faith and business journey, head over to thewomanofpowergroup.com to join our exclusive community. So sis, grab that notebook and that iced coffee and let's get to work. All right. So we already spoke about the importance of niching down, but I cannot stress this enough. With starting out, it's a must. You must niche down. It will help you to serve at a higher level, retain clients and customers, and make your marketing efforts more effective. Like the early example, we don't want someone to come across our website or our page and not understand what we do or who we serve. We want them to type in the keywords and know that they are in the right place. Niching down also allows us to be masters of our crafts and to truly master the industry and the people we are called to serve, right? So niching down is probably one of the hardest things for new entrepreneurs and multi-passionate people to do because we want to help everybody, right? We think we Jesus. We want to solve everyone's problem. We want to help everybody. And eventually we may be able to as we develop and grow in our business. But for now, it's going to be very important for us to get very specific on who we serve and what we do. And even Jesus niched down. So Jesus had fans, he had followers, he had disciples, and then he had his inner circle, right? Only the people in his inner circles was able to see the transfiguration. Mind you, Jesus came to serve everybody, but he also understood that his message was specific for those who would believe. This is exactly why he spoke in parables. So if you don't know what a parable is, parables were spiritual truths that revealed divine insight to those who were open to receive, to those who were his true followers and sheep. In the same token, parables were also used to conceal spiritual truths from those who were not his sheep or his disciples. So with all that being said, it's time to niche down. Okay. I cannot stress that enough, especially as multi-passionate people. We want to do a lot. And honestly, when we do too much, it gets to the point that we're not a specialist, we're a generalist, and people are kind of confused about what we do, who we serve, if we should help them, if we have the capacity to help them. Niche down for now. And as we grow and build our businesses, then we can cast our net a little bit broader. All right. So how do we niche down? So niching down is simply getting to the nitty gritty of what you do and who you serve. So let's take a look at the industry in a group of people list from earlier. Let's say real estate was the industry you picked and moms were the target people. Okay. So the industry is real estate. Mom is a target people. Now, real estate is a broad market. You want to think about what sector, and this is just for example, and we can do this for any industry, but you want to think about what sector of real estate you are specializing in. Is it commercial real estate? Is it rentals? Is it being a mortgage lender, a landlord? Are you a developer, an investor, a house flipper? Are you a real estate agent, a property manager? Are you versed in single family houses, co-ops and condos? Are you doing multifamilies? Are you doing Airbnb? Like what specifically in real estate are you going after? The more specific, the better. And then once you find that, you can niche down even more. So let's just say you say, I'm a real estate agent. Okay, cool. Are you a real estate agent focused on first time home buyers in the city of Philadelphia? See how specific I'm getting here? Like you see how more niche we're getting, the more niche, the more clear that we are. So now first time home buyers in Philadelphia, they know that we are the person to go to instead of the person that just say, I do all things real estate. Okay, well, how can you help me and what does that mean for me? So for example, for me, when I started real estate, I was all over the place and it was really hard to make money because I did everything to the point I wasn't targeting anyone and I was burnt out. I was a listing agent. I was a buyer's agent. I even dabble a little bit in wholesaling. Like I was doing the most. And then I finally found my sector, which was, I said, okay, I'm just going to be a real estate agent in the area of rental properties. So I wasn't going to do any houses. I wanted to do rental properties. And then more specifically, I wanted to do Section 8 and city housing in New York. So when people think of Section 8 and city housing, guess who they're coming to? Me. And then my specific niche was or is experienced landlords who are open to being a Section 8 participant, and then case managers who work at the city shelters hosting single adults to families of 6. Why? Because these landlords are the ones with the properties, and then the case managers are the ones with the people pre-vetted by the city. So you see how me getting niche down is actually even making me become more clear in my business. And then let's take it a step further. I say New York because this is not my capacity for doing real estate in Wisconsin. Now, if you ask me what type of real estate I do in Wisconsin, yes, I'm a licensed agent in Wisconsin. However, I don't operate as one in Wisconsin. My focus in Wisconsin in real estate is specifically development of affordable housing. And then my target audience in this space, in this city, is the city, because it's the city who has programs for minority professionals to get into real estate development and willing to train and lend to them. So you see how it's the same industry, but different focuses and niches. You want to get to the nitty gritty. It should be clear for people to understand and know, and clear for you to understand and know as well. So if somebody in here in Wisconsin comes to me and say, hey, sis, can you help me buy a house? The answer is no. Why? Because I don't focus on home ownership here in Wisconsin. I focus on real estate development. If somebody in New York comes to me saying, hey, can you help me to buy a house? No. Why? Because I don't focus on home buyer. I focus on Section 8 properties. Now, eventually, as I get my system together, I can broaden my net. So it's going to be the same thing for you. Okay. So I just wanted to use me as an example. All right. So back to our example. Let's say you pick moms. Great. Is she a single mom? Is she an entrepreneur? Does she work a 9 to 5? Is she a mom to toddlers or teenagers? Is she a specific race or from a specific demographic? Like, get to the nitty gritty. Why? Because single mom is going to have a different need than a mom who is married, or moms to toddlers are going to have different needs to moms of teenagers, right? So saying that I'm a real estate agent for moms in Philadelphia is way different than saying I am a first-time home buyer real estate agent helping Black single moms in the city of Philadelphia purchase their first property. So you see how targeted and clear that is? When that person typed that into social media, you're the person that's going to come up because of the keywords that you use, because you learned how to niche down. So how do we get to the nitty gritty? When getting to the nitty gritty, you can ask yourself questions like, what am I most passionate about? What skills or expertise do I possess that others find valuable? Who are the people I enjoy working with the most? What specific problems can I solve better than others? What market needs or gaps have I noticed in my area of interest? What specific challenges or needs does my ideal client typically face? What age group does my ideal client belong to? What stage of life or career is my ideal client in? What is the primary concern or goal of my ideal client? What geographic location do I want to focus on? What socioeconomic status does my ideal client belong to? What specific industry or occupation does my ideal client come from? And what cultural or ethnic background does my ideal client belong to? So these are just some questions that you can ask yourself when you're trying to get down to the nitty gritty. All right. So far, we know what a niche is. We know the importance of one. We know what to look for when we're picking a niche and how to narrow it down. So now let's talk about how to find your niche. Now, your niche will evolve over time and get more clear once you get to know more about the people you are called to serve. But the formula to find your niche is your passion slash calling times your expertise times the market demand. Now, your passion slash calling, you just want to think about, what do you love doing? What topics or activities do you find yourself naturally drawn to? What will you do even if you weren't getting paid for it? And what is God calling you to do in this season? Even who is God specifically calling you to serve in this season? So you're going to want to write everything down. You're going to write all this down, what you love, what you're passionate about, and what God is leading you to do. Now, your expertise, we also talked about this in the clarifying your calling session. This is going to be the scale portion of the take inventory method. So you guys see how all of this is starting to come together and kind of work together. So you want to consider, what skills or knowledge do you have that others find valuable? What experiences or qualifications set you apart from others? What problems can you solve better than most people? So then you want to list your skills, your qualification, and your expertise. And then we have market demand. So for market demand, you want to think about, what are people looking for in your area of interest? Are there enough people who need or want what you can offer? And are there any gaps in the market that you can fill? And you can use tools like Google Trend, keyword research, Answer the Public. I love Answer the Public. Answer the Public was one of the first websites that I had used when I was doing like target market research. It's a really good tool, especially if you're not 100%, if you're not able to be in front of your target audience yet. That tool also can help you with kind of picking their brain. You can also use social media and surveys to find out what people are searching for and what problems they need solving. I am a champion for surveying. I highly, highly, highly recommend surveying the people you think you want to target. The better you get to know them, the more you'll be able to understand their needs, their values, and desires. And you can have like a full survey using the questions that I provided in that vision casting sheet that I gave you guys. Or you can use like social media polls, but you want to get around your target audience and know their needs and know their wants. And a lot of us make this mistake when we're building out our businesses, because we automatically think about what we need and what we want, right? So when we setting a program together and we put a price on it, we're thinking about what's going to benefit us, which is true. We should, but we have to consider, is my target audience able to afford this price point? If I'm saying that I'm going to offer let's say a one-on-one coaching program at $3,000 a month to single mom with 2 children that makes $50,000 a month, is she going to be able to afford that? You get what I'm saying? So we really want to start asking and surveying the people that we are called to serve, so that we can know exactly what it is that they're looking for. Without this, you don't have a business, being that your business is to solve people's problems. Okay. That's why we're in business. It's to solve people problems. But if we don't know who our target audience is and what problems that they have, then we won't be able to create solutions that they're raising their hands for and that they're searching for. So when I was getting ready to switch the Woman of Power group over after serving many of you guys, I realized that many of you had some things in common. 1, you were millennials. 2, y'all were African American. You had strong relationship with God. You guys honor biblical principles, and you had a burning desire to build wealth and be business owners. So with that information, and of course the help of the Holy Spirit, this is how the Woman of Power group shifted from being a spiritual place, but also a business development space. Right. So if you started with the Woman of Power group, when we started in 2020, it was a prayer line. Then it moved over to, hey, I'm going to help you build a relationship with God. But as I continue to have conversation with the women, as I continue to serve it, I realized, hey, there's actually something here. Of course, we always need to build and develop in our relationship with God. But you guys already kind of have a routine there. You're looking to launch out and call it and build profitable businesses, right? And then I just kept picking at you guys. I wanted to get you to know you guys a little bit more. And that's how now leadership development has been now included. Why? Because after speaking to many of you guys, you're not looking to be solopreneurs, but you're looking to build multi-million dollar companies, and not just one company, but many of them that will have impact in your sphere of influence. So this will require you to have a team, hence now require you to be a leader. So we shifted from a power space to grow a relationship with God to a power space to develop Christian women entrepreneurs as a business owner and leader while staying rooted in God. So this is the power of market research, right? This is the power of serving your target audience. This is the power of niching down. This is the power of getting to know them. This is the power of interviewing your target audience, hopping on calls with them, asking them questions, and understanding their true desires. Don't be afraid to niche down and then ask those people in your niche specific questions so that you can master your craft. So all of this will evolve over time. For now, I really just want you guys to pick an industry, niche down. So if your industry is beauty, great. Is it hair? Is it makeup? Is it nails? Right? And then pick up a person. Let's say it's mom. Great. Is she Black? Is she white? Is she single? Does she have a husband? All of that good stuff. Okay. So this will evolve over time. So there's no need to get overwhelmed or anxious. The first thing you want to do is pick your industry and be specific. Like I mentioned, if your industry is beauty, what about beauty is it? Is it hair? Is it nails? Is it makeup? If it's hair, is it braids? Is it wigs? Is it weaves? Is it natural hair? Right? Next, you want to define who your specific person is. Is it millennial? Is it mid-aged women, Black women, single moms, corporate professionals, overworked entrepreneurs, small business owners, corporate professionals? This part is also going to be it's going to be important, because sometimes we say, okay, my target audience is the age 21 to 35. That's a big age gap. A 21-year-old, how you're talking to her is going to be different than how you're talking to a 25-year-old, right? A 35-year-old. A 35-year-old professional corporate person may be on LinkedIn and Facebook, but that 21-year-old may be on TikTok and Instagram. So you want to really define specifically who is the person that you're serving. And remember what I told you guys, niche is the person that you can give your power, you can transfer your power to. So if you take all of your gifts and your skills and your talents and all your expertise and you give it to a 21-year-old, is she going to be able to reproduce in her life with that power? Or will a 35-year-old be able to reproduce with that power better? So you kind of want to think about that. So after, you want to see if your industry passed the time, money, health, or relationship test. And you want to make sure that your niche person has the means and the desire to pay. And then lastly, you want to do market research. You want to do surveys. You want to ask to talk to your target audience. You want to use Google keyword searches. You want to use websites like Answer the Public. You want to look at your target audience social media profiles and comments to get to know them better, right? You want to do market research on your industry as well, so you know the trends and where the industry is heading. So this is going to be very important, especially because God is calling many of us to master our craft. We spoke about this on a prayer line that we're not just here to be business owners, but God truly wants us to master what it is that he is asking us to do. He wants us to be thought leaders in the areas that he is calling us to do. It's our responsibility to understand what the trends are in our industry. When I first started coaching, my business coach told me that I didn't need a certification, which was true. People weren't looking for a coaching certification. Like, you could just coach. If you got the answer, you can coach. However, the way the industry is going is it's heading in a more regulated it's heading to be more regulated, and people is gonna want to see that you are certified and have a coaching certification. So what did I go ahead and do? I went ahead and got my coaching certification. Why? Because I want to be ahead of the industry. Same thing for you. You want to make sure that you are ahead of your industry. You're understanding the best practices in your industry so that you can stand out as well. Okay. So with the information mentioned today, you are setting yourself up for success as it pertains to the foundation of your business, right? Your clients and your customers are what allows you to have a business, and niching down and knowing them will put you in a better position in the long run. Okay. I cannot stress this enough. Figure out who your niche is, get to the nitty gritty, get in front of them, ask them questions based on what it is that they're telling you, then create an offer, then create a solution so that when the time comes, they come looking for you and you're not looking for them.
Hey sis, I hope this live training was super helpful for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on DM or through email. And sis, if you found this episode helpful, send this over to a sister in Christ that you know will need this strategy for her business. Until next time, sis, see you next week for another episode.
Hey sis, I hope today's episode blessed you. If it did, would you take just 30 seconds to share it with a fellow Christian woman entrepreneur who's ready to step boldly in her God-given business? And hey, don't forget to leave your girl a quick review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps to get the word out and lights me up to know that this podcast is actually making an impact in your journey. All right, sis, time to get back to building that kingdom business and claiming those 5-figure months. I'll see you next week for another Power Pack episode. Stay blessed and profitable.